So hi, YUNGBLUD podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Happy Monday.
Happy fucking Monday, dog.
Yep. We're recording on a Monday. Sorry, I got work things to do tonight. But this will still be coming out on Tuesday as if it was a live stream podcast.
As per usual, yeah.
Because we got to stick to a schedule around these parts, you know?
Professionalism and shit, right?
Important professionalism and things. Yeah, I went to a couple of shows over the weekend, which was very exciting. I'm still not entirely sure how I woke up this morning after the weekend I had, but I made it here only a few minutes late, which is better than when I'm not coming back from a couple of shows. So look at that. On Friday, I saw Refused for quite possibly the only time. Allegedly, they're breaking up, but with every band that breaks up, they also then get back together. So I made my trek to Brooklyn to see Refused because I hadn't seen them before, and they're one of my favorite bands, although I don't talk about it a ton. I love them a lot. So the bill was them, Quicksand, Orange 9mm. Orange 9mm kicked off the night. They were fucking dope. I didn't check out any of the support going into the show, and be honest with you. I was refreshing my memory on the Refused discography because the tour kicked off Thursday. My show was Friday, so I didn't know even what to remotely expect really going in. So I was like, I should just refresh in general. Spending a lot of money to be here, I should know what the headliner's going to play. So they were cool. Quicksand as well was cool, although I know there's like a history between Refused and Quicksand, hence why they are support on their final US run. But I felt like they played too fucking long, be honest with you. We're at the Refused final show in New York City in North America ever, and you played for 45 minutes. Please get off the stage.
That's a long set for an opener. Were they were direct support?
Yeah, direct support.
Oh, well.
But I was just like, all right, come on. They played like 13 songs. Let's go.
Yeah,
come on.
You guys got a full set.
Yeah, we got it. We understand.
We get the point.
Yeah. They had a couple of cool songs, but I also just kind of felt like a lot of things kind of meshed together and kind of became one song, which does tend to happen for me when I don't know what I'm going into in terms of a band, seeing them live. But this was very apparent to me. I was kind of like, is this over yet? Genuinely, is this over yet?
Yeah.
And then Refused, man, what a band. They're so fucking awesome. They played a good chunk of their record, The Shape of Punk to Come, which is my favorite Refused album. But yeah, it's just unbelievable show. What a band. Dennis was talking on stage last year. He had a heart attack, and this tour is their first tour back, first shows back since that. And you know, they played a show in DC the night before, but it was kind of like a warm-up show, not as big as the rest of this tour is in terms of room capacity and things of that nature. So he was like, this is my first, you know, proper big show since the heart attack. And you know, he was talking about how he was nervous and unsure if he'd be able to do it, but the man was fucking swinging the mic around on stage and dancing and jumping and doing all sorts of crazy shit. And I was like, you just said 5 minutes ago that you were nervous and you were moving like you were a little easy. Like you are not moving like you are nervous at all. I'll be honest with you. You know, I didn't really know what to expect going into the live performance. I just think that the history of the band is super dope. But I haven't like watched live videos or things of that nature because honestly, I don't like to go on YouTube and watch live videos from 1990, whatever. Sound's not
Audio's
great.
blown.
Yeah. So very awesome band, phenomenal. If you're a fan of Refused, absolutely catch this tour. It's allegedly the last one ever. It's very possible because of the history of the band, but this isn't the first time they've broken up. They actually broke up very shortly after The Shape of Punk to Come came out. They self-imploded in the US on tour for that album, I believe.
Nice.
So yeah, it's not the first time, but it's also been 30 years since that happened. So I feel like if there's a time for it to be real, it would be now.
I don't believe any band's breaking up ever. Genuinely, I feel like a band never breaks up unless like the Beatles, but that's because like there's no way that they can come back.
They
If
had
they
to.
were all alive, they would come back.
Yeah.
You know, there would be a little reunion, but they're all fucking dead, so they can't. So,
well,
yeah, bands always come back.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, I spent a lot of money to be there. I kind of hope it's the final one. You know, that's it. We're done.
You guys better not fucking come back.
And if they got back together, I would expect it more so like in their home country, maybe not so much coming back here to do it again. So yeah, it was fucking dope. If you're a fan of Refused and they're coming near you, or even if they're not, if they're coming within your vicinity, I would highly recommend traveling. I know that the tour is kind of all over the place in terms of markets. It's ironic that they're calling it the last tour in North America ever, and it's routed kind of terribly.
Who the fuck did this?
Yeah, kind of felt like they hodgepodged it together at the last second and forgot half the markets they should play. But I digress. There was one near me, so I was okay. Last night, Sunday, I saw Throne, Varials, No Cure, and Heaven's Gate in Philly. We're all over the map this week. Heaven's Gate was cool. I was kind of not like turned off by the studio stuff going in, but I was kind of having a hard time getting into it. Although I think the band is fucking dope. Seeing them live really sold it for me. I was like, this band is actually phenomenal. And so that was really cool. They're from Australia, their first time in the US, so they went up there like they had something to prove. And it was fucking badass. No Cure was dope. Heaviest band on the bill for sure. Just a straight up hardcore band. They just came out swinging for 30 minutes and it was nuts. Varials was super cool to see them in their hometown. Been following them for a minute. And they were fucking badass. The crowd was nuts for them. First hometown show they said in like 3 years. So there were people there for them, that's for sure. And then Throne played basically a support set, clocking in at 35 minutes, playing all but one song in their discography.
You gotta keep, save something for the imagination.
Yeah,
they can't play all of it.
No, that would be too much if they played their entire discography. That would just be ironic.
That would just be crazy town. What are you talking about? They played their entire discography in one night. You can't let that happen.
Can't let that happen. Who are you? The Jonas Brothers? 5 albums in one night? Come on,
Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh,
so yeah, but they were awesome. They fucking rip. They just go up there. There's not much talking, as you can tell. That's why it clocks into 35 minutes. That's about the length of their discography. There's not much talking. They just go up there. They fucking rip it.
Then they leave.
Yeah, and then they just walk off. They're like, all right, that's it, bye.
And everyone's like, you have one more song.
Yeah, they got one song left in their discography. Okay. But yeah, they were dope. It was kind of ironic when they were like, this one's an old one. And they played one off the EP that came out in 2022. Or 2023, 2023. And then they were like, this is a new one. And it was a song off the debut album. And I was like, yeah, this is a new one. They're talking like they've been a band for 20 years. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, you gotta start, sometime.
Yeah.
You gotta start talking like they're just doing it out the gate is the thing. That's why it's so surprising.
Yeah. But they kind of split the set list up where they played a couple of songs off the album and then they would play a song off the EP, a couple more songs off the album, song off the EP. So they spaced it out. It's not like they just ripped the album, ripped the EP minus one song and got off the stage. They still kind of tried to create a set list flow, which was cool. But yeah, definitely the shortest headline set from a national touring band I've ever seen. Like I've seen local shows where the headliner plays 30 minutes because it's it's not even really a headliner, it's just whoever's closing that night. But I've never seen a national touring band on tour doing a like full production show in a venue play for 35 minutes.
And they're selling shit out too. Like it's not like there's no one there. It's everyone signed up and knew this was going to be like a 30-minute headliner, and they're selling rooms out.
I mean, that
That's
was a
just
joke in the
fucking
comment. Was in the
yeah.
comments was like, how are they headlining? They have 35 minutes of music. And this show got upgraded from 500 cap room to a 1,000 cap room, and it almost sold out again
For 30 minutes.
Yep.
God, they're awesome. I fucking love them.
It's so badass. I honestly love it.
Them. Yeah, it makes no sense, like money wise for them and for the ticket buyer, but it's like, fuck, man, it's just awesome.
The amount of time I traveled to the show, I think, was longer than the entire show last night.
Then the fucking all the openers and them.
But I am glad that the show was over by 10:30 because there was a country show going on in the Fillmore, which is next door, which fun, dude, hilarious, drastic difference in crowds.
Difference. Yeah.
Because I parked in one of the Fillmore lots, and I've never seen people tailgate for a show.
Oh shit, like barbecues and
like just drinking beers and things like that.
Oh.
And listening to music. No like full blown grilling, but people like standing around in the parking lot, talking, socializing, drinking.
It's crazy.
I've never seen anything like that ever at a standing room show. Like I see them at, you know, big, like massive like metal shows stadiums. I go to, you know, there are people, you know, when I go to MetLife Stadium, people will tailgate. It doesn't matter what the band is or the performer, but I've never seen that happen in the Fillmore lot. But I understand that's like part of going to like a country show is the whole
beer.
The whole before the show experience as well as during the show. Definitely interesting walking through the entire. They had the line split into two sides because it like ended and then they started it at another point so it didn't start wrapping around, and so interesting walking through the middle of it. I stuck out like a sore thumb because everyone's dressed in like plaid and has like cowboy boots on and shit. And I'm dressed like I am today. Yeah, and I was getting weird looks. Don't worry, I wasn't walking to the Fillmore.
Yes, it's okay.
Would have stuck out like a sore thumb. There was someone bumping Limp Bizkit in the parking lot though, so shout out that guy. I love you. You're great.
I'm sure that guy was having a hard time deciding on if he was going to go to the Throne show or the country show. It was a real toss up.
Yeah, well, it was ironic because it was like they'd play a couple of country songs and they would just bump Bizkit.
That's the most eclectic fucking playlist ever. It's just two different artists, and it's just, what the fuck, dude? Bizkit just popping up.
I was like, this is badass. But we've got a bunch of albums to talk about, as well as some singles. We're going to jump right in. A Day to Remember dropped their new album, Big Ol' Album, Volume 1. Man, I love A Day to Remember.
Okay, so I'm going to just start this off, because I have a couple things to say. I just want to say, rollout-wise, packaging-wise, name-wise, this album fucking sucks, okay? I think that this is genuinely, it's just me, though. This is just me, my preferences. I hate the album title. Big Ol' Album, Volume. Who are you? What is this?
Big Ol' Album, Volume 1.
If
there's a Volume 2 coming, by the way.
Oh, I was worried that they were just gonna leave it at 1. You know.
You never know.
Cover art wise, I think it's not my favorite. You know, it's
there's a lot going on.
Hard to look at personally. Single wise, all of them except for Feedback, could have done without them. Now, getting into the actual, you know, meat and potatoes of this fucking record, I think it's great. Honestly, I was worried going into it because we had both been so hot and cold about this record, because Feedback, their debut single for this record, was fucking incredible. And especially, I mean, the bar was in hell considering their last record. So honestly, anything that they would have put out, if it didn't sound a morsel like the record before, was going to be great. But it was genuinely a good song that we both thoroughly enjoyed. So going into it, I was like, oh, well, and then they fucking dropped LeBron, and I was like, oh, they lost it.
Shout out LeBron.
No, man. No shout out to LeBron. Fuck that song. So going into it, I was like, okay, Feedback's at the front, LeBron's towards the middle. I should have enough time to, get a good opinion because LeBron isn't at the front. So my opinion's gonna be fucking washed if LeBron's like track 3, because then
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm just pissed off for the rest of the record. That's just how my brain works. I need to figure that out if I'm gonna be reviewing albums, and I need to get past that. But that's just how it is now. So make it make sense. Feedback, Bad Blood to all my friends into the death. Being the first half of the record. I think it's fucking incredible. I definitely think there's a lot of pop elements that they're weaving into their metalcore, and there were some country elements that kind of scared me, but they were still good. It wasn't as offensive to my ears as the first record, where they just had like a flat out country song that we were both like, what the fuck is this? You guys remember Your Day to Remember, right? Like, you're not fucking Luke Combs or whatever the fuck. Actually, that was the only one I could think of. So hearing kind of their fusion, their pop metalcore combination, I thought it was incredible. And it honestly just feels like the correct evolution for a band that has been going this long, and that has been experimenting throughout their entire career and kind of trying to find their path. It's definitely leaning more into the octane core, which again to me is kind of the correct or natural evolution for a band that's been going this long. You already have the name that everyone recognizes, so now it's just trying to find a bigger audience and trying to grow past the big mark that you already had when you not peaked, but when your name was the biggest, which was in like the early 2010s. So I think it's great. I like this album. I think it's a good album. Definitely a lot better than I was expecting. Again, bar was on the floor, but it genuinely over exceeded my expectations. I really like To the Death. All my friends' feedback are my favorite. Feedback is still a personal favorite because I genuinely just think that song fucks. A side's great. B side's great as well, but damn, LeBron, can we just like axe that song like
No, we
fully?
can't.
There was also a crazy ass breakdown towards the end of the record. I unfortunately did not have access to my phone when I was listening to it, but I was like, Jesus Christ, that was insane because it went from, a more pop rock song to then just out of nowhere, there was just a crazy fucking breakdown. And that song alone made me want to see them live because I was like, that switch would be so cool live. So, great record, thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a natural progression for a band like this. I'm not mad at it. But again, rollout wise and cover it, looking at it, it's hard. It's difficult. I would not buy like a vinyl of this because I would not want a large piece of art like this.
I bought
Thank
the
you.
vinyl.
I know you did. I know you did.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed this record. It feels like exactly what the band had to do coming off the back of You're Welcome.
Had to.
They had to make this album because You're Welcome, did a lot of experimentation that had not been previously seen in their discography, and couple that with the fact that there was this very long wait delay period. The album was anticipated for 4 years, and then what we ultimately got was You're Welcome. It kind of felt like a slap in the face. So this album had to happen, and it absolutely rocks. I think they absolutely nailed it. The band has always teetered they're an easy core band. They've got the pop punk elements, they've got the metal elements. They've started incorporating those country elements in the past couple of records, although like you said, I think it was done a lot better on this album. There wasn't a straight up like this is a country song. It's like the country metal that we're starting to see pop up, which I'm okay with. Still not my favorite, but overall, if we got to do that, I'd rather it be country metal than just like throwing a country song on the easycore metalcore album. It opens with Make It Make Sense, which is kind of like, to me, feels like this opening song that's kind of like we're back, because it kicks in with a breakdown almost immediately, and it's kind of like reassuring the fans in a sense that like we're back, we're making breakdowns again. Although the last record had a couple of those, and those were my favorite songs on the album, it just kind of feels like it was needed to give you a kick in the teeth right away. Feedback is a phenomenal song, goes even harder live. Absolutely rips and is actually pretty heavy live. It's not super heavy in the studio version, but they get it rocking live. All My Friends and LeBron, I kind of put in the same category, although I actually really like LeBron.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, it's dope.
Continue.
But All My Friends and LeBron are the two songs on the album where I was kind of like, did anyone read the lyrics that were written before they were sang and then mixed and mastered and put out? They're both corny.
It's fun corny. It's just LeBron crosses the line for me because it's just like, what the fuck, guys? Why are you name dropping LeBron? All My Friend, you get a pass. You get a pass.
They're the two corniest songs on the record for sure. I really like LeBron because I think it's just a very catchy song. It's got a very catchy chorus. Corny as hell, and I giggle every time I listen to it. But it's got a big catchy chorus, and I mean, I can see why it was picked as a single, one of the few that we got. Although the entire album was put out a month in advance on physical, there were a total of 4 singles. Miracle came out in 2022 as initially a standalone, wound up making its way onto the album. Still one of my favorites. Phenomenal track. But there are songs on here like To the Death and Silence that are like, holy shit, I feel like the band kind of transcends the metalcore and gets even heavier. Especially, I was reading the A Day to Remember subreddit, because I'm like, I want to see what A Day to Remember fans are thinking about this album, because I think it's dope, but I want to see what the general census is. And I saw someone call Silence like Gojira-esque, and I spent a lot of time listening to Gojira at the tail end of last year, seeing them a couple of times with Korn, and I have to agree, it feels very like technical metal,
fun,
which is super dope. Not something that we've seen them do before. So I really dig that. I think that, they obviously, I think A Day Remembers at their best when they do super heavy, when there's breakdowns, because that's what I lean towards. I love the pop punk infused stuff, but I love when it's just a straight up metalcore breakdown track. So tracks like To the Death, Miracle, Silence are my favorites on the album. But there's plenty of pop punk and straight up pop songs on the album that really create a nice blend. Nothing is kind of stacked where you're getting multiple of the same song in a row. The track list is very much varied in the sense of you're kind of getting hit from every angle, but it all makes sense. Make it make sense, if you will.
I will not.
Okay. Overall, it's just a very solid album, a return to form, and was necessary with everything that happened with the last record. They absolutely knocked this out of the park, and I couldn't be more happy. I had heard people talking, when the vinyl came out, that this was potentially going to be their album of the year, and I just kind of scoffed because of what had went on with the previous record. I was like, I don't know if the band's got it in them
to be album of the year potential.
after what I heard with the previous record and what I'm hearing with the singles, I think they're all solid. But I kind of get it. This is definitely probably not going to take my album of the year. I've already got like 4 or 5 albums competing for that spot. But I could see this making my list in some sort of capacity. I'm definitely going to be spending a lot of time with this. Incredible. Opener is fantastic. Closer, it feels like a closer. And what I really love is there's no straight up slow songs, because A Day to Remember does the acoustic songs really well, but this is just straight up ass beaters and catchy pop songs, and that's what was needed. So 100%. Overall, very stoked on this.
Hell yeah, damn straight. Right. Bloodywood dropped their new album, New Delhi. How did you find this band, and where can I find more of this shit? Because this was fucking
I
awesome.
so they signed to Fearless,
Okay.
and we were getting sent the press releases, and I checked out Todka,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like watching the video, and I'm like, Gloria would fucking love this
Yeah.
because it's like Electric Callboy and Baby Metal
Shut the fuck up.
like
Yes.
had a baby, because
Yeah.
it's not as insane as Electric Callboy
Electric
is,
Callboy.
but
Mhm.
I was watching the visual
Yeah.
for that song, and I highly recommend that you and anyone that likes Electric Callboy goes and watches that video.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is just goofy and
Yeah.
weird and funny and all over the place. And I'm like, we're gonna cover this. I'm not telling
We just
Gloria
have
about
to.
this band, but we're covering this album because I
Mhm.
know she's gonna love it. And the
Mhm.
exact reaction you gave me is exactly what I expected,
Yeah.
just from that song, not even hearing the album.
Yeah.
So that's how I found the band. But if you would like to kick it off because you're so excited, go right
Yes.
ahead.
I'm extremely excited about this band. So that's so funny that you mentioned Electric Callboy, because listening to them about like 2 or 3 songs into the record, I was like, God, this is giving me like Electric Callboy, but not as abrasive, I guess. Not as like super, I guess bipolar would be the thing, because Electric Callboy, flip of a switch, they're doing fucking the pop, whatever club remix, whatever the shit, to super heavy fucking growling pig squeals, whatever. This is more, I feel like the transition is a lot easier. I think it's definitely a lot more palatable for someone who's trying to get into that type of music, and it's just fucking fun. This music is awesome. I love how they utilized Indian folk instruments to like just exaggerate and emphasize and just make the fucking songs better. All that to say, I think it added just a nice just Easter eggs and just nice noises. Fuck, it's so hard to explain why I like this so much. I just think it's something that you don't hear often in metal. It's something you don't hear at all in metal, at least in my circles. I'm sure it's out there, but because I didn't know about this band before, I didn't think that this was a thing. And I fucking love when bands use fucking instruments from their cultures, from their backgrounds, from just places that they grew up in, and infuse it into an already like heavily saturated market where you're so used to certain, like, oh yeah, the breakdown's gonna go there, they're gonna do fucking chug riffs there. It's something that's more easily predictable, I guess, metal. But when they started using just Indian folk instruments just in fucking breakdowns, in choruses and shit, I was like, what the hell is going on here? This is awesome. It's new to me. Again, if this has been happening, before this band, obviously, I'm sure it's, there's bands out there who have been doing this, but because it's new to me, this shit's very exciting. And I think it's just so well done. I think it's clean as shit to listen to. I think there's some parts where it's even fucking catchy. And for metalcore, it's a little difficult for me. You have to really hit the mark perfectly for me to think that a song is really catchy, ass shaker even. Um, they have a baby metal feature on here, and I think it matches so well. The contrast is incredible. It hits that same mark that Electric Callboy hit with their baby metal feature, where it's just the super high energy. Their voices are fucking awesome. I love baby metal so much. And then the super fucking low, growly, just Jesus Christ, man. I'm a big fan of this record. I think it's fucking awesome. My favorite songs are the Baby Metal feature, Kismet, and Dagbaz, I think is how you pronounce it.
Mhm.
Basically the middle portion of the record. I even think that the intro and the title track are fucking incredible. Honestly, the entire record went by a little too fast for me, because I was just getting more and more excited with each track, because it felt like I struck gold. It was just like, holy shit, this seems like it's gonna be a little fixation of mine for a little bit, because it hits that interesting new vibe in my head for me, and I'm really enthusiastic about this right now. It's
I can
huge.
tell. I can
Thank
tell.
you for
Yeah.
adding this. Yeah.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, I think this band is super dope. They're doing something incredibly unique, which I think is awesome. And like you said, they're incorporating Indian folk and cultural instruments into a sound that's already super familiar. This a metal sound with these cultural instruments creates such a unique sound. And makes for such an interesting and unique listening experience, because it's like 1 second you're getting what you're used to, very standard metalcore, new metal, whatever they're pulling from, because they touch on all different types of metal in throughout the record. And then there will just be a random folk instrument placed in the middle, but it makes so much sense and blends perfectly in with the music, which is two worlds that you wouldn't typically expect to collide and then work so well together. And I think that's what's so exciting about this album and this band, and why I'm starting to see people talk about them.
Good.
Is that very unique blend, something that you don't see every day, and it being executed almost flawlessly, and then put in that little taste of like the super chaotic and kind of like laid back, kind of funny in a sense, like lyricism, not taking themselves too seriously is what I'm going for. That is something like an Electric Callboy, and you just get the perfect blend, honestly, for a band that I think in the next year or so is going to be a band that we're talking about way more. Like they're doing pretty all right now at almost 900,000 monthly listeners at the time of recording, but I genuinely think that this band is going to be one of the next big things that we're talking about way more in the next year or so. They're going on tour with Baby Metal in the States. That tour is Baby Metal, Black Veil Brides on the first half, Ginger on the second half, and Bloodywood is the first of 3 across all dates, which I think is going to be huge for them, because that is a massive tour. Those rooms are huge. I keep looking at the tickets because I want to see the tour. I want to finally see Baby Metal, see Black Veil Brides, finally see Bloodywood. I just keep being blown away by how big the rooms are. I can't grasp how big Baby Metal is, but I digress. I think that tour is going to be huge for them, and I think we're going to be talking about this band a lot. All that to say, I really dig the Baby Metal feature, as well as Todka, as that was my introduction to the band. But as you also said, the opener, the closer are both very solid as well. And it just kind of comes and goes. It's about 30 minutes long. It's not a huge time investment, and it just fucking rocks. It's all killer, no filler. There's no slow moments on the album that kind of pull you away. They just keep pummeling you with each song, and it's fucking awesome. It's so cool. What a phenomenal band, what a phenomenal album, and I'm excited to see where this band goes.
100%. Fucking stamp of approval. Major. Hell yeah.
Pop Evil dropped their new album, What Remains. Man, I've really been digging the singles off of this album, which I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Not a fan of the fact that it is front loaded with the singles, and it kicks off with, the Bullet That Missed, it was not a single. That's an opening track, but then 2, 3, 4, and I believe Side Effects was the focus track. So then 5 are all of the singles off of the album, with Death Walk, What Remains, and Wishful Thinking all being out ahead of time and getting plenty of spins for me across streaming and Octane. That was kind of like, I wish there were more familiar points for me throughout the album, that I could kind of grab onto metaphorically as going through the album. But I've checked out this record a couple of times. The first time I was kind of like, okay, mainly because like it's so front loaded, and then there was nothing familiar on the tail end, and I was just kind of like, I'm not entirely sure if I came away with anything other than I enjoyed the singles, the songs I've heard. But I gave it a few more listens, and I'm happy to say I came away with enjoying the album a lot more than that initial listen. Still a huge fan of the singles. I think that those songs were singles for a reason. They're all very strong and still, my favorites off of the album. But I also think that Criminal, Enough Is Enough, and Knife for the Butcher are incredibly solid tracks. Across the board, just very strong songwriting. And they know how to write choruses. That's why I initially got hooked on the band with the singles off this album, was the choruses, and they know how to write them. It's across the album. It's strewn throughout the entire record. Very solid.
I think it's a great record. I'm not mad at it. I completely agree with the front loaded and how it's just, it kind of leaves you hanging on the second half, because that's a thing that we've both agreed on, where it's like records should have, if you drop a lot of singles, make sure they're throughout the entire record, so someone has a metaphorical floaty to latch onto in a sea of songs that you don't know. That's something I think bands should genuinely, you guys got to pay attention to that, because then it gives listeners who are already well versed in your discography something to look forward to, while also being greeted with a song that they already know and hopefully love. Unlike LeBron from A Day to Remember, I was dreading that in the sea of floaties, that I was like, fuck, I gotta latch onto you in a second. Anyways, so I think this record's fucking awesome. I think the sound overall is great. I think they have that kind of like dark metal pop fusion going on, and it's fucking dope. I think I have genuinely nothing to complain about. When you mentioned Knife for the Butcher, that song had me fucking immediately, because it's fucking explosive, it's big, it's angry, it's everything that I want in this type of song, and I think it's just such a fucking good track. Obviously all the singles in the front half, front half excluding the opener, I think are great. I have no quarrels or issues with them. I'm pretty sure did we cover all of them, or did we cover
just one, I think.
Yeah, I think because I'm looking at them, I'm like, I don't really remember covering them, but I do remember like you talking about them.
We jumped in towards the middle because it was just like I started hearing the songs on Octane, the singles that had already been out, and then Wishful Thinking came out, and I was like,
might as well.
We do whatever we want around here.
Yeah, we're kind of spontaneous around here. So I think I just remember you talking about them and being like, this band, I'm so excited about this band. And just, I get it. I get the hype. I get your excitement. I understand why they're getting so much play, so much airspace. It's fucking awesome to see. And I think all the congratulations and hype and everything is well deserved, because the album holds its own for me. Singles aside, I think it's fucking awesome. Even with the singles being on the front half, which again is it's more of just a pet peeve rather than an actual like, this ruins a fucking record for me. It's just kind of like, guys, we couldn't have taken like 2 more seconds.
Yeah,
we couldn't have 5
Sequenced.
seconds, right? It's not that hard, I don't think. But granted, I've never done it, but I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's definitely front loaded, but it doesn't discredit the back half of the album in any stretch. It's an incredibly solid record through and through. It's just a personal pet peeve of Gloria and I. That's that.
It's just how it is, man.
Yeah.
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
They're headlining this April. Peep the dates. Check it out. I know it's not coming near me, but I do know that they're bringing Return to Dust out with them. So amongst other bands, but that's the one that I remember. So peep the dates. If it's coming near you, you should go. Return to Dust, great band.
Shout out Return to Dust. 408 dropped their new album Over the Edge.
What a great band, man. We've been covering 408 for a minute now. We covered their last record. I feel like we covered a single here or there from this new album, but largely honestly missed it. And then all of a sudden the album was here, and I was like, we love 408 here. We got to chat about the new album. Just a very solid pop punk band. The thing that ultimately gravitated me towards them with their last record was the massive TikTok push. They were all over my feed at the time, and very strong songs with very catchy choruses is what caught my attention to the band. And this is just an extension of that. Although I do feel like with this album, it's a slight maturity in terms of the lyricism and what's being said on the record, and also instrumentally, the songs are still pop punk, but feel like they are matured in a sense, like not so much like the 2000s pop punk that was kind of done with the last record. This feels like a more modern take on that, which, you know, it's still 408, it's still what I expected them to do, but like I said, a little bit more mature, modern version of that, which I think is awesome. I'm really digging the album. I really dig 20 something as well as Incomplete with Rivals. I think that Kaylee's vocals, you know, really adds to the song, creates like this haunting vibe, which is what I've been enjoying with the new Rival stuff, is that very like dark pop-esque sound. So her bringing that to the table really adds to the song. Second Chances with TX2 is fucking dope. Seeing the TX2 feature on the album was fucking awesome. But, you know, Delusional, I really dig the opening track. And then they've got at tail ends, the album technically ends with Blurry, but there are 3 songs at the end, which are the songs that have features without the features on it, which I do think is cool. You know, it's always something that I'm curious about when there's a song with a feature on an album. What would it sound like without the artist on there? And instead of having to wait or potentially never hear it, they just smacked it at the end of the album, which I thought was awesome. You know, I definitely think that each of the features brought something to the table with the songs that the original versions don't necessarily have, which makes them unique. But it is super cool to kind of see what the song was before the other artist was brought to the table. Overall, very cool. And the 408 version, the band's version of the featured song, it's not something you see every day. Typically it's the other way around, where the song comes out and then they throw an artist on the song afterwards. So don't know in what order it was done, but cool nonetheless.
Exactly.
Very, very cool album. Stoked.
Damn straight. I'm very happy you brought up the 408 versions, because those were actually some of my favorite tracks off of the record. I do like the features, but me personally, I'm more of just a standard. I like just the band straight up. And then some songs I feel like can, you know, the features do help.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the middle track, Girl Last Summer. That was one that stood out to me when I was listening. I thought that one was just really fucking good. And I think you're right. I think it's just a good, mature take on just the classic pop punk sound. It's a fucking awesome listen. It is something that came and went as I was listening to it. I feel like it started and then it was just over in like a fucking blink of an eye. I would have preferred it if it was a little bit longer, like 2 or 3 tracks, but I'd rather miss it and want to re-listen to it than complain and go, this fucking album
Went on
is
too long. Yeah.
It's overstayed its welcome. So I mean, this is a win. This is a win. I wanted more songs and I'm not getting any more songs, so that's fine. Overall, I think it's a really fucking good record. Yeah, solid.
Hell yeah. They're going to be hitting Warped Tour, all 3 dates of Warped Tour. No other dates currently announced, but if you're going to the Warped Tour dates, they'll be there. So definitely peep it. Dwayne dropped his new single, Biological. Digging this new era for Dwayne, honestly. I think that this song is fucking dope. The single before this was cool as well. I'm just excited to see Dwayne back putting out more new music, because he always knocks it out of the park, and the song's no exception.
I like this track a lot. I think it's a lot more closer to the side of Dwayne that we've already seen before, where it's kind of the pop rock. It's very high energy, unlike the last track where it was very Imagine Dragons-esque, and I was not into it. Like, yeah. I'm just not an Imagine Dragons girly, you know? I'm sure somebody out there loved it, but me personally, I heard it and I went, this is not it, Dwayne. This is abort. Yeah. I really like this one though because it has that really like fun summer pop vibe. It's, as I said, it's very high energy. It feels very happy-go-lucky. It's just a cute fucking sounding song. Yeah, big fan of Dwayne. I think this guy fucking rocks. I love him. Youngblood. Oh yes, Young dropped a new single, Hello Heaven, Hello. Okay, I liked the song. 6 minutes into it, though. Yeah, 6 minutes into the song.
Yeah, it's 9 minutes,
I
by the
looked
way.
up. I looked up and I looked at my phone. I said, "Is this still Youngblood?" I was like, "Is this still
Oh
fucking
yeah, it's
going?
still Youngblood.
It's still Youngblood." So I guess he decided to put out a 9 minute song, 10 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ. It's not bad, is the thing. And that's what kind of upsets me because I really wanted to rag on it just because it's 10 minutes long because that's an easy target. Low hanging fruit. 10-minute long song. Oh, boo. You know, like
You
that
think I
would've been
had
the
10
entire
minutes to
segment.
listen to your shitty ass song?
I fucking skipped it
Yeah.
2 minutes in, but I got 6 minutes in, and that's when my flags started going up. And I was like, "Is this shit still going?" But it wasn't a overstaying its welcome. Is this still going? It was more of a how
That's
long is
still
this fucking
Youngblood.
song?
I didn't sign up for a Youngblood album.
Album. I was like, no fucking way he dropped an album. I didn't hear shit about it. So I think it's a great song. I think it's definitely a more mature, just it feels just like a shift. There's a big shift happening in just his music. He's going from kind of that na 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 boo boo, like I'm still a fucking kid, mom, music to like grown ass man shit.
Mhm.
I don't know what's going on. I'm loving this shift. I think it's great. But 9 minutes, dog.
It's tough.
Couldn't have just dropped two songs?
It's
I don't
tough.
know.
9
That's
minutes
just
is
me
tough.
though. Yeah. I listened to it all though, all of it, and enjoyed all of it, but it's just still jarring to me. My
Yeah.
TikTok brain, you know? Sorry, Instagram reel
Your
brain.
YouTube Shorts brain. Yeah.
YouTube short on occasion.
On
I'm more into Facebook, you know? Facebook shorts. That
Facebook
shit.
Reels goes crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the song is cool. Definitely a wild, thing to just say fuck it, 9 minute song. But I think it's cool. One thing I've always respected about Youngblood is no matter what he's doing in terms of sonically, he still approaches it with the same work ethic as well as like his own personal ethos. It doesn't matter what's going on, like he's still very vocal. As he's gotten bigger, what he stands for is still what he stands for.
Yeah, no, I fuck with him, yeah.
Which is one thing I respect, because it does feel like you said there has been this shift, and there's been a slight shift with previous records where it was kind of very alternative leaning to going a little bit more pop focused, like kind of conquered the alternative world, so let's go conquer the pop world. And now
It was so good.
and now it kind of feels like it's just targeting full-blown mass appeal with almost a Bohemian Rhapsody-esque song. At least that's what's being attempted. I don't know if it hit the mark, but that's what was being attempted.
I was
with this
thinking
song.
the same thing, where it was a ballad.
Yeah.
It was it was telling a story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
yes.
going for that full-blown mass appeal while still at his core being the same person standing for the same values is what I think is one thing I respect about Youngblood, even when I'm ragging on the guy for his songs,
or just spitting into hands.
Yeah.
Like the internet never forgets, Dom.
Yeah,
The internet never forgets.
the ragging on Youngblood in general.
It's so fun.
I
It
do
just makes
think
it easy.
that this song is solid, albeit way too fucking long. I do feel it about, like you said, the 6 minute mark is kind of when it starts to get repetitive, but I also understand if what he was trying to go for was that Bohemian Rhapsody-esque song. Bohemian Rhapsody, great song. Also around that 6 minute mark is when it starts to be like, stop, I get it. That's enough.
You lost me.
That might just be me and very long songs. But yeah, man, you can only have so many crescendos in a song before I'm like, I get it. It's big. All right,
Where's the final
I get it.
crescendo?
Can we the final crescendo should have been 4 crescendos ago. I get it. But it's cool, man. It's cool.
It's chill.
Yeah, Youngblood's back. Start of a new album cycle, I believe. So yeah, man, gonna be more Youngblood in 2025.
And if it's more like this, I'm very excited. Or if he goes back to like his pop punk days.
Yeah.
Also, stoked. I just like this guy. I like his music. I am a Youngblood fan. I poke at him a lot, but I had a big phase with him. So massive respect always. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dead and Chris Motionless from Motionless and White dropped a new single, Until I Die. Gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this song.
Whoa.
Because on paper, it looks phenomenal. I saw these bands tour together 6 years ago, which is nuts to say, because I can't believe 2019 was 6 years ago.
Jesus,
and I never would have thought that these two artists would do a song together. But it just feels very busy, the song.
I can hear that.
And
yeah, okay.
like the first time I heard it was on Octane because it got a world premiere on Octane. I was like, okay, maybe it's just, it coming through satellite. It sounds a little off. And then I kept hearing it and it's grown on me, but I'm not getting the feeling that I was hoping to get from this song based on, how much I love Motionless in White and how much I love Dead.
Yeah, it's like two of your, yeah.
I would have thought that I would have enjoyed the song a lot more, but it just, the vocals feel very overproduced through the entire song.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it a very interesting listen and not super palatable to my ear, honestly. Yeah, I was hoping to enjoy it more. But it's like it's so overproduced that I almost have a hard time telling when Chris comes in. And he's got a very distinct vocal. But on my first listen, I was like, all right, and where was Chris in the song?
Like a post feature? What's happening here?
So yeah, I was hoping to enjoy this song a lot more. It's been growing on me, as I said. It's been getting a bunch of Octane play, so I've been hearing it in passing. But yeah, man, not what I was expecting. When I saw these two come together. I mean, what we've been getting from Dead has been a sonic shift into this like kind of chaotic metalcore with these very like, the vocals are very much part of the production in a sense. The first single was that way as well. But I was hoping for something slightly different, that was maybe a little bit more in the vein of what we've gotten previously from Dead, that I feel like would have better utilized Chris, because that's kind of where Motionless in White is at as well. I feel like that would have been a great pairing. This just kind of feels like, what the fuck?
When you said busy, that definitely resonated with me, because I was like, oh shit, that is something that I did pick up first time, where it just felt like a lot was happening and it was kind of hard to digest. It was hard to pick apart, like, oh, well, it feels like everything's was just turned up to 100, in the mixing.
Yeah.
But honestly, I liked it. And I liked that it was kind of busy, and I liked that it was messy, and I liked that it was a little overwhelming to digest and listen to, because it reminded me a lot of older Motionless, I guess. Not necessarily like energy wise, but it's just kind of that messy, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but I dig it heavy.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take a little more time for me to translate everything and figure out actually what's happening. Just like way old shit. And I say that because we reviewed all Motionless in White stuff, and that's why I was able to be like, okay, I can kind of, because they don't do shit this heavy anymore, Motionless. So it was very kind of like, it fits and it works. And in that way, in that sense, I was able to appreciate it. But definitely, if you're expecting kind of like Motionless in White now to feature on something like this, I don't think it's gonna work. So I do feel like this was Chris almost, regressing a little bit back to kind of the earlier Motionless days. And for me, that just scratched a part of my brain, because it was like, it's current, it's new, but it's almost like a take on his old shit. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought this song was good, but I completely agree with you. It is overwhelming as fuck. There's a lot going on, and it seems like everything was just kind of thrown at the wall. And for something where you're having such a big, important feature, Chris Motionless, who has a very distinct vocal, if you're unable to pick him out of a crowd, you might be doing something wrong. You could take a couple layers out,
Yeah.
But honestly, I liked it. I liked it a lot for that reason. So,
all right, fair enough.
Yeah. Hot take, I don't know.
Yeah.
Air Drawn Dagger dropped their new single Belly Aches. I love Air Drawn Dagger. I've loved their last couple singles. This was a band that Shane found, that we found because of the podcast, got to do an interview and kind of check out their music. I think so far this is my least favorite single that they've dropped, because all the other ones had such pizzazz and such strong energy and almost like anthemic moments and just really big, just they were just big to me, just sound wise. And this one felt like kind of like a step back, which is completely fine, because in an album you're gonna need the highs and the lows, but it just didn't read a single to me. It read more as like a middle track, something that once you're, halfway and the album's starting to take like a little bit of a slow turn or just a turn overall, you would expect this type of sound. But I don't know, it just didn't strike me as a single. And I just thought it's still a great track, but it wasn't what I was hoping to continue the following up all the other singles that they've dropped.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I know the band is very lore-esque. It's very, very heavy on the lore. I was actually, I was watching all the music videos a couple nights ago, because I'm honestly obsessed with this band.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Be honest with you.
Yeah.
And this song kind of feels like it was made a single for like world building feeling, because there's a music video with it, and that it kind of serves that purpose versus like the other three songs that were all these like very big anthemic choruses. And that's what I love about this band, and most bands that I enjoy are those big anthemic choruses. There's a common theme here. And that's what drew me to the band. This song, is the most like same playing fields for the entire song out of all of the singles. I still think it's a great track, but I'm also with you. Least favorite single. Doesn't mean it's a bad song by any means, but doesn't give me the same hit the other songs have been.
I agree.
Jonas Brothers dropped their new single "Love Me to Heaven," announced their 20th anniversary tour with Marshmello, the All American Rejects, and Boys Like Girls.
Oh fuck!
Which
wait. Okay, sorry.
Is so dope. I will see you guys in New Jersey with Marshmello and the All American Rejects. Boys Like Girls
their audience,
are
which
on
is so
other dates. And I saw people in the Jonas Brothers subreddit, because yesterday was a great day for Jonas Brothers fans. They had Jonas Con announced basically their entire year.
It was just a huge day for Jonas. I mean, they had Jonas Con.
The Big Time Rush showed up, dude, and played at Jonas Con, as well as the All American Rejects.
I just can't imagine.
I honestly should have went to Jonas Con versus the Throne concert last night, because like Big Time Rush, the All American Rejects, and Jonas Brothers in one room, dude, that's nuts. In a mall, nonetheless.
I'm sorry, I just can't get over Jonas Con. That's a thing.
Yeah, it was the first time this year, again, to celebrate 20 years of the band. They announced everything going on with the band this year. New album dropping August 8th, a couple days before the tour kicks off. They announced Joe's solo album when that drops. They're going to have the theme song for the MLB season this year, because why not? They have a Disney holiday movie as well as a holiday album coming out around that, and a live album coming out in June. They're really doing it this year, that's for damn sure. But this is the first single off of that new album. Shout out the tour though. All American Rejects, finally getting to see them live, which is going to be dope. The song's cool.
Song's aight.
Yeah, song's aight. I'm hoping that, with this tour lineup, we maybe get a taste of the pop punk Jonas Brothers, because the
return to form.
Yeah, granted, the bands that are on the lineup have now kind of went the pop route along with the Jonas Brothers, but all of those bands came up together as pop punk bands. So
Marshmello included, right?
Sure. I don't know why he's there other than the fact that they have a song together.
I don't understand that. That one feels like who the fuck invited you?
Maybe the pop punk tour of the summer, and then they threw fucking Marshmello on it.
A fucking DJ
for whatever fucking reason.
The hell?
But it'd be great to see him too, I guess, in the flesh, kind of.
You don't have to say that.
Yeah,
he's not listening.
It'd be great.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was very excited. But yeah, the song's cool. I'm hoping though with the tour lineup that even if the entire album isn't that way, because I understand they have transcended that and have become a pop band, which is fine. They do that very well as well. I'm hoping we get a couple of tastes of the past, just because, man, you can't do a pop punk tour and not have a couple of pop punk at least play the old pop punk bangers, if not have a couple of new ones as well.
Yeah, I thought that this song was fine. I wish I attended Jonas Con as well, not for the same reason, or not with enough kindness in my heart as you would have, but just to kind of observe.
Be there.
What do you do there?
Jonas Con.
What is Jonas
Celebrate
Con?
Jonas Brothers.
It's like, okay. I try to think. I mean, is there a ball pit there? I just don't know, like, what experiences.
I'm not entirely sure.
Or you meeting and greeting at Jonas Con?
I'm not entirely sure what the point of Jonas Con was either. It kind of sounded like it was going to be a shit show until it happened.
Like a TanaCon. Remember that?
Yeah, because it was like a free con in a mall, and it was just destined to be a disaster. There was news coming out that they were struggling to secure sponsors for the event, which is how obviously everything was going to be paid for, with it being a totally free event. The asking price to be a sponsor was like stupid high, which is part of why they were having a hard time securing sponsors, and it was overall just shaping up to be a travesty. It seems like it went off way better than I expected, but I was kind of in the boat of, number one, I didn't have Throne tickets yet, but I was like, there's that going on. And also, like, I'm 22-year-old straight male that probably shouldn't have stepped foot into Jonas Con.
The only men that are going to be there are Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
That's fucking it.
So I was like, it's already weird enough. Yeah. When I go to the shows,
like Tate McRae concerts,
yeah,
it's like there's someone who should not be here right now.
And I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna stay home and watch Jonas Con
concert
from afar.
I feel like I gotta watch like a vlog on those. I feel like someone vlogged the Joe Bros Con. Dude, I would have vlogged it. As just an outsider, I would have been like, guys, I've never listened to the Jonas Brothers before. Let's experience Jonas Con together. I can't believe that's real. Genuinely, it feels like a joke, like a running joke, but it's not. It was real, and people went.
Yep.
Was there merch?
I have no idea. I wasn't there.
I have to watch.
We have to deep dive this.
Genuinely, I gotta check out like the Reddit. I'm sure there's a subreddit on Jonas Con. I thought the song was fine. Like, it's Jonas Brothers. They're not doing anything new for me. I would really like it if they did go back to their pop punk roots. For me, they kind of peaked with like Sucker. Waffle House was nice because it was a different vibe, a different pop vibe that I feel like they hadn't covered before. It was catchy. I hated it at first. I remember shitting all over that song, and then I just heard it out of the blue in like a Walmart or something, and I went, oh, this song's actually nice. So sometimes you just have to change your space, you know?
Listen to Jonas Brothers in Walmart.
Exactly. While you're looking at shit that you probably shouldn't buy. And then you go, wait a minute. This song's kind of good. It's okay. It was kind of how I landed on it. I was like, it's not shit. So yeah, for me, Jonas Brothers hasn't really done anything that stands out enough for me to be like, this is really good. Jonas Brothers, you're doing really good. I'm really excited about that tour, especially for All American Rejects. I fucking love that band. I think about them a lot because they tweeted when Panic broke up, and they were like, we're the last one standing. And just for that, like, they've earned so much love from me. And also, growing up listening to them, come on, man. That entire fucking record, I think it's like the Move Along album, that shit, that was my shit. I had that on my Zune, all right? That's how that's how far we go back.
Yeah.
And I ripped it, sorry guys, I ripped it illegally on my fucking Samsung Samsung tablet, because I lost my Zune, so I had to switch to a little tablet. I had that shit ripped on there too. Love them. Excited for them. Jonas Brothers, this song was just okay.
Fair enough.
Malevolence dropped their new single, If It's All the Same to You. I thought the song was good. It was genuinely a good listen. I really liked kind of the repetitive moments where they kind of did the same flow every so often. I thought that was really good. I'm not sure if it was the chorus. I think it was the chorus, but I mean it happened like 4 times. So if you're doing the chorus 4 times, it's questionable. But I thought it fucked. So I'm not mad.
Yeah. Track absolutely fucks, straight up ass beater right in your face the entire song, which is dope. It got the new album coming out in June.
Eerie.
Yeah, just wrapped up touring with Counterparts, which is dope. Excited to see the rest of this album roll out. As I said, June. Looking forward to it for sure.
For sure.
Arms Length dropped their new single "You Ominously End." I think this song is fucking dope. I've been digging the couple of singles we've gotten off of this new Arms Length record, and I'm excited to hear the new album. I'm digging modern, say modern loosely, the newer the couple of the album, the debut, and the singles thus far off of the second album. I've been digging those a lot. I'm very excited to hear this album in full.
Hell yeah. No, I thought this song fucked. I'm very excited for what's coming up. I think it's a great track. I'm a big fan of Arm's Length. Great fucking track.
Hell yeah.
Acres dropped their new single "Staring at the Sun." I think this is fucking awesome. Catchy as shit. Ass shaker. I think it's just a great song. Yeah. Replay value is there.
Yeah, dope ass song. We had them on the podcast with their last full length, and since then I've been seeing their name a whole lot. Touring the US a bunch. He just finished up with The Plot and You. They're going back out with The Devil Wears Prada, which is just nuts. New album dropping in May, which is very exciting. Overall very solid. Excited for the album.
Hell yeah.
And for our last topic, Sorry My Love, which is a new project with Dylan Francis and Albert Hype and Water Parks, dropped a new single, Forget. I think it's pretty dope.
I think this is a really good song. I fucking love Water Parks. I think Austin Knight is a great vocalist. I don't know. He scratches that itch for me. He's unique. I think the backing, the instrumental, I think it's incredible and it carries them along really well. I think it's just a fun sounding song. It's pop rock. So, I mean, it's going to be fucking catchy regardless. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, those are all the topics we have today. You can follow us on Twitter. It's Good Noise, Cast. Instagram's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. YouTube is Good Noise Podcast. All your streaming services are Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Always got your Patreon supporters, Twitch subs, your important plugs, your merch store plug, your Amazon storefront plug, and then we're going to sign off.
Check out our merch. It is goodnoisepodcast.creator-spring.com. Check out our Amazon storefront. It has all of the equipment we use to do the podcast. And that's great. Patreon supporters, thank you to Matt from Pulses, Pop Punk Apologist, David Arrington, Tyson from Heal the Hurt, and Eric. And thank you to our Twitch subs, Matt, again from Pulses. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Important plugs: Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, Free Palestine, be a decent person, go to shows, be nice at shows, and yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that's all we have today. I have been Shane.
I have been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.